stupidly epic.
Hello everybody and welcome back to You Got 5 Minutes. Today's game is none other than 2016's incredible entry to the Final Fantasy series, Final Fantasy 15. So, you've either probably played this or probably stayed totally away from it, because it's either something you'll like intensely or it's something that you'll vehemently hate. I don't know that many people that would actually hate this now though. Like, I mean, like back in the day I can understand how like maybe like turn-based and menu-based combat could turn people off, but I don't see that being the case for like action games as much, you know. I could see purists being kind of like, it's not the same as the old Final Fantasies, what's going on? But I can't see the opposite happening, you know what I mean? I can't see like people who hated the menu systems from previous games being like, it's like too actiony, you know. It's too much like an action game now. But yeah, we've got maybe around about 20 minutes worth of footage here. I recorded a lot more, but I kind of whittled it down a bit obviously for the video's sake. I'm hoping that the quality shines through though, because this is the first video that I'm doing that I've captured on the PS4 Pro, and the PS4 Pro has 1080p output instead of 720. But yeah, so Final Fantasy 15, it's essentially a road trip with your mates. You hang about with your pals, going on a total adventure, and you get to eat good food. Look at that! Look at how tasty that looks. Looks amazing. So you've got 4 characters. You've got the main dude with the grey hair there. What's his name again? Noctis. Aye. You'd think I'd never completed the game before, eh? I've actually platinumed it. So Noctis is the character that you'll be controlling. They're going to be adding in a patch sometime soon, I think, like after the new year, that's going to allow you to control all the other characters as well, because they've kind of fleshed out each character's sort of specific combat. But Noctis is the main sort of character you'd be playing as anyway. He's got the ability to switch between, like, if you see down in the bottom left there, he has the up, down, left, right as his kind of change your weapons sort of thing. You're able to switch between like kind of whatever weapon you've set as those 4 sort of directions. What I usually do is I usually have the left, right and up for weapons, and then down for like whatever kind of magic I want to use at the time. But yeah, the combat feels really fun. One thing that did take me quite a while to sort of get to grips with is normally in an action game you'd be button mashing. It's like kind of tap 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 tap. But in this game you kind of just hold the button down, and it's kind of like an auto attack that happens while you're holding the button down. But you're able to edit those auto attacks by pressing a direction at the same time. So like, if you're holding circle, you can then tap forward or back or left or right, and then that'll sort of change what attack he does. Like you'll kind of flourish to the side if you hold like left, and kind of whip around the enemy to, you know, like if you hold down while you're doing it, and you've got like the big massive broadsword, it'll do like a really powerful sort of charge up attack and all that, you know. So the combat's not just as basic as sort of mashing a button and like seeing all the same animations happen. It's like you can edit what you're doing on the fly with the directions at the same time, which is really cool. The magic system in the game's a wee bit weird as well. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of Final Fantasy VIII, because you've got to, in order to use magic in the first place, you've got to draw it from specific points on the map. Like they're usually around campsites. So if you're near a campsite, you usually see like these crystals that you can draw from that'll give you like fire and ice and things like that. But within that, you're able to sort of mix and match these sort of elements together in order to make whatever you want. and you can combine those elements with items that you've found to make them even more powerful. Like you can say you wanted to make like a really powerful fire spell, so like you'd stack up all the fire energy that you've drained and mix in a phoenix down, and that'll do like a fire spell that would resurrect your friends. So like it's quite a cool wee system. Like it's intuitive. Like it makes sense. Like if you mix like about 10-15 potions in with your thing, it's like here's a fire spell that heals you. You know, like heals all your friends and all that. So it's quite cool. I like the way the game sort of handles it all. And obviously you're able to equip your characters with more better weapons later on. A big thing in this game is your trinkets as well. Like you add trinkets to the characters in order to sort of beef them up, give them more HP or more MP or whatever, you know. So I don't think you get. I can't remember. I don't think you get more armor, but there's like these massive talent trees in the game that allow you to like sort of bolster that up anyway. Like here's like a talent tree that'll like give you more AP per fight, so you can stack up like tons and tons of AP, and then that'll give you even more abilities for later on, you know. Unlocking limit breaks for all your characters and stuff like that. I use the term limit break. It's not limit break, it's just like you're able to sort of do all these like combination attacks and that with your friends. If you're in the sort of right position at the right time, you can accidentally throw a fireball there. But yeah, man, like the combat in the game is really fun, really fluid. If you want to parry an enemy, all you do is hold down the square button, and it's like an auto sort of dodge. And if you tap circle at the right time, just after a sort of perfect dodge, you're able to parry the enemy, which will give you like an extra attack on them. Yeah, just really cool. You can go to these sort of diners and get information on the region that you're in, pick up monster hunts. So if you're into Monster Hunter, there's like tons of monster hunting in this game as well. I can't wait for Monster Hunter to come out in January. It's gonna be amazing. But yeah, like that's kind of like, oh, how do I get money? If you want money, you sort of just go to the diners, and like they'll be like, oh, I need you to kill these guys here or whatever, you know.
Nice work out there.
There are enemies that you can only hunt at night as well, and they're like a lot tougher because nighttime enemies are like, oh, they're big bad beasties, and you can't fill them like the daytime ones, you know. But yeah, quite an awful lot to like about this game. I think the main takeaway that anybody should take from this game though is that it's just you and your mates having a laugh on a road trip, just hanging about, going camping, going adventure. It's just really sort of nice. It's just like a nice story. Like there's an awful lot of like big stuff that's happening, sort of like the main sort of story arc is not nice. It's like it's about war and things like that, and like there's two kingdoms at war and stuff like that, and that's horrible. But like the sort of moment to moment, like this, they're going to a wee camper van for the night. They're gonna hang about. Just gonna sit in their camper van and just hang about for the evening. There's bloody Ignis looking at the total thing. So, what can I cook for the night? You know, it's just really nice. You know, just kind of sitting down, having their evening. You don't have to do anything at night. You don't have to go out and venture at night. You just go to your inn and like rack up your experience points, get leveled up. If you go camping, like you don't have to use an inn. The difference between an inn and the difference between a camp is that an inn will give you a small multiplier for your experience points. So it'll give you like a bonus amount of XP. Whereas if you go to a camp, you're able to get Ignis to cook you food, and getting cooked food gives you stat bonuses. and that is important because like some of the enemies that you fight even early on are quite difficult. Prompto will take photographs, so to chronicle your little journey that you're having, your mini grand adventure with your buddies. You're just hanging about. But yeah, it's all just got this like really nice, pleasant vibe about it, and even though there's all these, like I said, like the main big story is like not so pleasant, just that moment to moment sort of pleasantry of like even just having Ignis drive you to the next location. Just look at this. It's like just go to the next pit stop. You drop off a wee package. The guy's like, "You going that way? Here's a package. Go and drop it off to the next. The guy over in this place here." Yeah, we're heading that way anyway. Let's go. So, and like at each sort of like rest area, at each like sort of little settlement or town or whatever, you can buy like soundtrack CDs to play while you're in the car. Like all the Final Fantasy music, you're able to just sort of play while you're in your vehicle. I don't know if this is going to get copyright stricken. I don't know if they have safeguards in place that stop me from playing the Final Fantasy music in the background. So like I'm just going to keep on talking over it anyway and hope that it doesn't get copyright struck. But yeah, man, like such a cool, fun sort of. This is like on a sort of weird, sort of personal level, like because I don't have that much contact with people IRL. In my head, I'm kind of like, man, I really wish my life was like this. Just like pals hanging about, you know, like just being pals and like having fun, just going about adventuring. Yeah. There's the locations in the game as well, though. The locations in the game are totally beautiful. As you can plainly see visually, the game is just like they've spent a lot of time making this game look really pretty. It almost looks on par with kind of like like Advent Children, like the movies and the Final Fantasy films, like a CG sort of movie. It's just really, really cool. There's Noct, remembering back to his childhood with his crush Luna Freya. Luna Freya, what a name, eh? Like, you come up with these stupid names. Noct, Noctis, Gladiola, Gladiola, Areola, I don't know, Prompto, Ignis, Luna Freya. Like, can they just be called Jimmy, Jack, Joe, Dave, Frank, Helen? I don't know, like, it just, yeah. I know it's Japanese, it's fine. Be funny if, like, the main character was just called Frank, the way. Like, Prince Frank. Hey, Prince Frank, let's go to the next pit stop. Go and write in your wee book and send it back to your girlfriend. Go on. So, each of the characters have like their own special ability though. So Ignis cooks, and he learns recipes as he as you progress through the game. You pick up ingredients, and you can learn recipes from eating at diners as well. Like he has he's like, oh, that's a good idea for a recipe, and like he sort of picks it up, you know. Gladio, he as you're running around the world, he's kind of like a forager. So like his survival skill goes up, and like you pick up better or more items or whatever like that. The higher rank you are, you know. Prompto like takes photographs, and he's able to sort of take more photos or like add filters to them or whatever like that as his level goes up. And Noct, He's a fisherman. He likes fishing. He's well into fishing. He's really, really, really into fishing. And you know what? The fishing minigame in this game is really, really fun. Back when I first completed the game, this it was actually quite an obsession with me as well. I had to you know, fish for that really, really big fish that you get in the quest. Had to get all the best lures. Had to, like, I was always on the hunt for a better fishing pole and like all the best lines and all that. And yeah, man, really, really fun to like sort of find like little bodies of water that you didn't expect to be a fishing spot. You find like new fish in there. There's like 100 fish to catch, 100 different fish. So you, like, you know, there's tons of stuff for you to do, just tons and tons of stuff for you to do in the game. That's not a part of the main quest. So like, I know a lot of people will sort of recommend, like, and I mean, I don't know really where I sit because I was kind of in the middle, but like, I know a lot of people recommend sort of just getting the main story out of the way first and then coming back and doing all the extra stuff, because obviously doing the main story will unlock all the areas in the game for you to do whatever you want in. And then you'll be high enough level to sort of do whatever you need to do, like whether it's the monster hunts, whether it's the fishing, you know, like you just kind of have all that freedom to just sort of do whatever you want. But like when I first played the game, I never done it that way. I just kind of like, whenever I went into a new area, I just try and do everything that I could, you know, just in case there was like a point of no return or whatever. But at the end of the game, you're able to sort of teleport back to before the end boss fight and sort of just do everything that you missed out on, you know, like, so you can just do all that. So I don't know, like, I don't really know what I recommend, but like, either way, like, whatever you decide to do, it'll be total fine. So like, whether you want to sort of have the challenge of doing it there and then in the moment, or you can sort of wait until after you've finished the main story and yeah, just sort of just do all that extra stuff afterwards. Like, whatever you decide to do is fine. But yeah, man, look how beautiful this game looks. It's like total, man, like, I want to see Final Fantasy VII done like this. Like, you imagine Costa del Sol in these kind of visuals. Oh man. You imagine like total going through Midgar and these style of visuals. Oh man, oh, I can't wait. It's gonna be so nice. It's gonna be so cool. Yeah, so I'll probably end the video with a wee bit of fishing here. You know, by a couple of like bits of line and that. Yeah, oh man, such a cool game. Such a cool game, guys. Final Fantasy 15. If you've not played it yet, and you're sort of apprehensive about playing it, just in case it's like too much of a JRPG or whatever, this is a very, very approachable Final Fantasy game. It's so not like the other games, but it's still got that sort of really anime kind of Japanese kind of flair to it. So like, if you're at all sort of interested in getting into the games, this is like the starting point to get yourself like into a sort of Final Fantasy game. Can't highly recommend the game enough. It's just such a pleasure to play from start to finish. Like, there's a monster fight. The very last monster fight you'll do is with a mountain. And that's all I'll say. It's absolutely phenomenal, like how incredibly large in scope the game is. But yeah, that's Final Fantasy 15, guys. Thank you so very much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Hey, thanks again, guys. Bye for now. Bye! I really, really, really hope this exports at 1080p, because it recorded the footage in 1080p. I really hope it exports in 1080p. If it looks really good, guys, like let me know in the comments. That'd be great. Give me a like and subscribe and that. Cheers, guys. Bye.